Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What's your favorite flavor of medicine?
I love that we went live as I'm like, I enjoy eating Tums. So everyone, welcome to Vox Vomitus, otherwise known as Word Vomit. And I think
Take your Tums.
take your Tums. You can already see why we're called Word Vomit. I am your host, Jennifer Ann Gordon, the author of the award-winning novel Beautiful, Frightening, and Silent, as well as the hotel series and Pretty Ugly. Joining me today is my Vox Vomitus vixen, Allison Martine, authoress of the Bourbon books, which includes Dibs Since September and Move on Melinda. With us today is Tara Laskowski, author of The Mother Next Door. Welcome, Tara.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
So, Tara, what is your favorite medicine? That'll be our get to know you question today.
I will tell you what I do not like is like any kind of cherry flavored thing. Like the cherry flavored stuff, like I'm done.
Yeah, like cherry Robitussin.
Yes,
Whoever did that has never actually seen or tasted or smelled a cherry.
exactly.
But they have probably tasted gasoline.
Ew. Tara and I will drink our Pepto-Bismol, but you're actually drinking a drink called a what now?
The writer's block.
Yes.
Yes.
Cheers, Tara, to having no writer's block other than in our glasses.
I swear this is just water, but I kind of wish it were straight vodka.
It's at least in a nice glass.
It's a nice
It
glass.
is. I'm not drinking out of one of my kids' sippy cups, so I'm kind of classy.
You are classy. Win-win. So, Tara, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about The Mother Next Door.
So I am not like the mothers in my book at all.
Thank you.
Good.
Actually, I'm sure that there's probably a little part of me in every one of them, but I'm not gonna tell you which part.
Which part?
I'm Alice. No lie there. I'm like, that's the one I instantly. She's the one who has. Wait, where are my kids? How many kids do I have? Did one of them do something? Are my kids all right? My in-laws are in the other room right now watching my children, so I could relate to Alice, who she has a very special place in my heart.
But she's really good at baking. Are you a good baker?
No,
but you do like to eat.
I like to eat. I'm a really good eater. Actually, no, I've been making quiches lately, but I don't make the pie crust from scratch. I'm sure Alice would. That would be like an Alice level thing. Me,
absolutely.
No. I would be doing the Teresa store-bought pretend it's from home. Oh yes, it's a very simple recipe.
Yeah.
That move. That would be
anyway. I do not bake from scratch. But I do have a soon-to-be 10-year-old. He's very excited that he's double digits soon, very soon. And I, as you can maybe tell from reading my book, a little obsessed with Halloween. Little bit. It's my birthday, so I have.
Is it really? It's your
awesome.
anniversary.
I got married on Halloween.
You did. I'm so jealous.
Halloween 2020. Mid-pandemic. It was a full moon. We stayed at a haunted bed and breakfast. It was amazing.
Beautiful.
I'm Halloween obsessed.
Yes. That's awesome. I actually would have totally gotten married on Halloween, except I didn't. We got married in June because we were following the academic calendar because my husband's a professor, so we had to do it.
That.
Otherwise, I would totally.
Yeah, and we stupidly got married in January and didn't follow the academic calendar. And my husband's a teacher, and I remember him morning of our wedding, he was still doing subplans. I'm like, what are you doing?
Was it early January though? Because like they have a pretty big. No, okay.
End of January, beginning of February, and it was stupid. But his birthday's end of January, mine is beginning of February. It's only like a week and a half apart, and we got married between them because we thought that would be so clever. It was stupid. I'm gonna tell you right now, because then it's like your birthday, anniversary, my birthday. By the time Valentine's Day comes along, we don't care. We're just like,
you're done.
Can we maybe get some
Valentine's Day kind of
burritos
anyway? So who cares?
Yeah.
So you're Halloween obsessed or Halloween. I hate to use the word obsessed if you're not actually obsessed.
I'm pretty obsessed. Yeah.
To use the word obsessed, you can use it. It's fine.
Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much. So my book is so what happens it's a domestic suspense / thriller, I guess. Although there's not as much, I think, killing as you would say a thriller would be. So it's, I'd say, slow burn suspense. And basically there's my character Teresa is a mom who moves into a new neighborhood, and she immediately discovers that she's on the same street as all of the cool moms in the school district. And they throw this amazing Halloween block party every year that is, you know, sort of famous in the area for just being like all out crazy. Yeah. And so she's immediately like, I want to be friends with these people. Like, they're the popular women and I want to be the popular person. So, but she has like a past that she's trying to like cover up some things. And so she's sort of trying to balance, like, I don't want to tell them too much, but I want to tell them enough that they, you know, think I'm in with them. And meanwhile, the cool moms have their own like secret past that they're trying to keep secret, but there's someone threatening to uncover that or expose that, I guess. And so there's all these like jockeying going on, and like Halloween is coming up and they're trying to figure out like what's going on.
I get the spider in my yard this year.
Right, exactly.
I love that part.
Yeah. Keep up this facade of being like super with it and together, and you know, so basically they're trying to figure out like how far are they going to go to keep this secret a secret and keep this community, the in community, and this facade of like everything's perfect.
Well, I mean, I just love the idea of this whole neighborhood being Halloween obsessed and having it be like the culture of their neighborhood. And it, like your entire book leads up to Halloween, like the countdown, like, oh, you know, 14 days till Halloween, 11 days till Halloween. I'm just like, oh.
I know so many people who that's how they do their calendar, rather than like this many days till Christmas. They're like, forget that. How many days till Halloween?
Right.
I have a black Christmas tree.
Awesome.
Yes, she's a very goth Christmas.
We need to hang out. We just really need to hang out.
I have a costume closet too.
I actually was going to ask if you could be one of the woodland creatures, but then you would make me be one of the woodland creatures, and I wasn't prepared with my wise old owl outfit. But I know you would have dressed like a fox if you could have.
I have wolf ears and like a little wolf tail because I did a dance number where we were like sexy Muppets.
Oh my gosh.
Did you just say sexy Muppets?
I did.
There's not really a wolf Muppet though.
No, but I don't want to say like furries because it wasn't that kind of thing. It was to the Muppet Show theme song.
That's not helping, but go on.
No, I think I'm done.
Okay.
I like costumes.
Yes, you do, and so do the moms there, and that's one of the things. And I will say that ends up even being kind of a little bit of the plot into who's wearing what when.
Yeah, and actually that helped me earlier on. Like that actually helped me define the women. Like, you know, like I was like, okay, I need a themed costume. And then I came up with the woodland creature thing. But that really helped me because I was like, okay, who are all of these people? And like, how can I fit them into different kinds of animals? So that actually was really, it was originally just like an exercise I was doing. And then I was like, oh, this will actually fit pretty well into the book. So
well, and I could totally relate to that because back in college we did the whole like, oh, what costumes are we going to wear, and that whole idea of that group costume is so stupidly stressful about having something everybody can agree on, and it has to fit everybody's personality, and you can't all be the same. And I remember one year my roommates ended up doing like, we're all going to be seasonal fairies, and there were 5 of us. I'm like, there's only 4 seasons, people. And I just said, peace out. I'm going to be a ladybug. So I made myself a ladybug costume, and they're wearing all these sexy things. And I'm running around with a giant, like, fluffy hump on my back and little antenna. I'm like, this is more me anyway.
Well, that's the other thing about Halloween, like the costume thing, the whole like sexy thing. Like, that's another added pressure, I think, like to that holiday.
I liked the scene with Teresa when she like, you know, gets her costume for the first time, and she's like, just like, what is going on?
What did Ginger order me?
What's that?
Because she didn't order her own costume either.
No, Well, and originally I had written that scene where it was the opposite. And she was wearing this like totally frumpy owl thing. And it was like almost like a big stuffy thing. And
Like my ladybug.
no, that is not that, like, it's much more interesting if she has this like skimpy costume that she has to try to like figure out how to dignifiably wear. So
Yeah.
I changed it and I think it works better.
It was a great scene. I feel like, and we all relate to that. Everybody who's purchased a costume from Spirit Costume Shop, and you look at the front, you're like, that looks like a normal outfit, and then you take it out, and it's like barely a shirt. And you're like,
And that
even if I
material is
wear
barely
leggings,
material.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
even with
Right.
leggings, you're still gonna see.
Right. And if it rains,
Everything.
it'll probably fall apart.
Yeah, it disintegrates. Like, you can't wash these things; they're half made of plastic. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you write this book during the pandemic, like during lockdown?
I
Or
did.
was it?
Mm-hmm.
So
It was
tell
a
us.
horrible process.
Yeah, we get it. Like, this is again why it's called word vomit. Tell us about your horrible process.
Yeah. So it was a perfect storm of this being during the pandemic and also my second novel. And it was the first time that I was writing to a deadline.
Ooh.
Because, my first novel, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't have an agent. I didn't have anybody who wanted it. So I was just like, taking my time, messing around. I didn't know
Taking
what I
your time, writing what you love. Like,
your
there's
heart.
nobody judging it yet.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
pure art.
I mean, I make it sound like it was romantic. It was horrible too, but like a different kind of horrible. So I am, I have like extremely high anxiety. And so like writing to a deadline like freaked me out to begin with. And so I had decided that because I basically sold the book on a proposal, like on an outline. And I spent a lot of time outlining this book, and I was like, this is awesome because now I know all of the plot twists and everything that's going to happen before I even start writing anything. So this is going to go so easy.
So was this different than the process for your first book? Did you not outline the first one? I was going to ask if outlining is a thing for you, because I've only done it with a gun to my head. And even then it was like, I still wrote the book first and then did the outline afterwards because I'm a cheater.
Yeah, no, I am not. And I learned, this is one of the lessons I've learned, is that I'm not an outliner. Like
You're our people. You're our people.
Yay!
Figure it out. Like, it's just like I have to blindly stumble through the woods or whatever.
Yeah, I was getting like heart palpitations when you were even just talking about outlining. I was like, I need a Xanax.
But I didn't know this at this time. So I was like, this is awesome. I've got this roadmap. I'm great. And like, because I had sold the novel on this proposal and I am a rule follower, I thought I need to follow this outline because that's what they
bought. That's what they asked for.
No one told me this. So I wrote the piece. I'm actually a pretty fast writer if I like can, just get myself in it. So I wrote the whole draft, and like parts, I'd be like, well, this isn't really working, but I'll fix it in editing. It'll be fine because I'm on track. I've got like plenty of time to like fix this book. So I turned in like the 70,000 words or whatever to my editor, and I was like, here you go. And we had this like horrible conversation in which basically like, yeah, this just isn't working. And I was like, I know that it's not working, but I was so mad because, like you want to hear.
Yeah. But you were hoping they wouldn't realize it wasn't working.
I know. But I feel like you can't fool them. Like, I keep hoping for it too. I'm like, nobody's going to know that this part that I just wrote is total nonsense. They're going to read it and go, that worked.
Or it's like, maybe this is just my self-doubt and it's really brilliant.
It's just imposter syndrome.
Exactly. So anyway, it was horrible, and I like cried and I like threw things. Well, wanted to throw things, and then I realized she was totally right, and I knew it, and it was fine. And so basically, I ended up throwing the entire 70,000 words away.
That'll teach you not to outline ever again.
It jinxed you. Outlines are bad.
Well, I was going to ask, was this editor the same one that you'd worked with before on the first novel?
Yes.
Okay, so there was already a relationship there, a level of trust. So it wasn't like this person's going to steer you wrong and
No.
Like no, they expect a book. They already got one book, and they're like, this one will be as good as that one, and we're going to make sure that it's not 70,000 pages.
And she's amazing. I love her. Like, she is like the best person for me because she's honest, but she's also like really invested in making sure that like what I write is like, you know, the best it can be. So even though I like had moments where I'm like, I hate you. It's like really just a hate love. It's really love. Really love.
Yeah. No, because I can understand that. It is tough love.
No, seriously, it is. I love her so much.
Because I mean, the book eventually came out, and it's, you know, and it's doing well. So
they let you
have a book come out.
And then it was like April, I think, of 2020. So it was like right when, you know, the shutdowns happened, and I'm basically like, my book is due in October, I think it was, and I had to start over, and you know, so
you're writing to a deadline that's now half as long as it was going to be.
Yeah,
because the first 70,000.
Yeah, and my editor and my agent were all like, we have faith in you. You can do this. We know you can do this. And I was like, I'm quitting. I'm moving to Hawaii. I'm becoming a mail carrier. I am gone.
I like your escape plan, Tara. Go on.
I know. I'm like, Hawaii, mail carrier. You've not thought about this at all.
Those were oddly specific things.
They were.
It was like a
it
mail
sounded
carrier.
so great.
I mean, you'd have great health insurance. It would be fine.
But at some point, though, you came back and said, all right, I'm going to write this again. Did you try outlining again? Or did you get at least, did the editor at least give you guidance on what she wanted to see different?
Yeah, we talked it through. And so basically what happened was the first book, I'm trying to remember, but like the first book, basically the crime, the murder, whatever, happened right in the beginning. And then it was like them trying to figure out what happened. And there was no driving motivation of my character to really be invested in this murder. And so it didn't make, like, there was no like suspense to hang on to because like, you know, and so
for that character.
Right. And so she was like, so I had to flip it, you know, and it was basically like, well, we need to lead up to something as opposed to like it happening and then them try, like it was, because it wasn't a police procedural. It was like, you know, suspense novel. So
I'm like, there are no police characters even in your book. I'm like,
no, because I don't know how to rate police people. So to avoid that as much as possible. So
I write romance.
Yeah.
Well, in science fiction and fantasy, there are no police characters anywhere.
It's great. It's great because you don't have to worry about people yelling at you for getting things wrong.
I know. Like that's not what forensics is.
Well, and I get on people's cases, especially if I'm beta-ing, because if they touch the legal system, then I start nitpicking because I was a lawyer for years. So I start going, that's not how any of this works. Thanks, though. Go watch Law and Order. They get it pretty close.
Yeah.
So you want people yelling at you. No getting yelled at.
No, I don't want people yelling at me. That's why I also like kind of set my stuff in like not real places, like not totally real places. Because
there's no real Ivy. What?
Oh, there is.
Oh, yeah, there is. We know.
Yeah,
we know. It's just our little secret.
There's only 5 of us. 2 of us are missing right now.
That's true.
Missing.
I know. Just saying. They're
just running late. That's all. They're just
running. Yeah. They're at the bonfire.
As in, like your late mother.
Next door, but sorry. It's terrible.
Leave Tara out of this. Oh, wrong. Sorry. I will stop with the puns. I will behave a little bit.
So you start writing the new version, the version that's been published. And did you automatically know this is going well?
No, it was a little bit of a disaster to begin with. Again, not bad. I'm just telling you, like, I learned a lot from this, but it was so painful. But this time it happened, we talked through sort of what was wrong and you know, I kind of re-envisioned the story completely. And originally it was set in the spring because it was all centered around the kids, like the teenagers in the book, graduating. Like they were all seniors and it was graduation and all the stuff and the accumulation of that. But again, like I was really having a hard time with like the suspense and like the atmosphere, which is kind of, I think, my strength is like I get like spooky places, and if I can find a spooky place, then I can make things happen. And I was having trouble with like spring because
it's not very
not
spooky.
inherently spooky. Mm.
No.
I mean, midsummer, but
Midsummer is. Yeah, and graduation can be scary, but it's not like moody spooky.
No.
Right. So I said to my editor, I was like, if we're blowing all of this up, then I want to set this around Halloween, because that is like my favorite time of year, and it's, you know, creepy leaves crackling, falling, whatever. It's great. Everything's dying.
Everything's dying.
Bursting.
You can sit by a bonfire and hear things in the woods and go, what was that? I'm sure it was just an animal.
Right. It's perfect. So that's when it really kind of took off for me. Like once I started being able to write stuff that I love, I feel like it sort of clicked. And then, yeah. So then from there, it was just kind of getting the point of view right, like whose story were we telling, and who, you know,
and you juggled that really well, because you have multiple narrators, and then you also have like mystery narrators that you don't know when you're listening. And I know Jen and I were talking about, and I won't spoil anything, we're like, oh, what even are we looking at here? Like some of the scenes that are being described, like what are we seeing here? Because if you don't know who's telling the story, then you are also having to fill in, like, who am I looking at? Who's being described? What is going on here? So
right.
you managed to get all those in there. So was all that stuff that was revised for the second version, or were those always pieces?
No, that anonymous point of view, I think was definitely in the revision, and that was my favorite part to write, because it was the most fun.
It was very fun to read,
mm-hmm.
and to try to figure out who that anonymous narrator was, because
yeah,
I had theories. I was wrong.
Well, she'll have to tell you her theories afterwards. I like that. We were way off there.
I know, I was way off, but I like got it in my head. I'm like, it's definitely blah blah blah, and then but I had like very little to base that on. But I was like,
well, and she picked up on stuff that I didn't even pick up on until later. I'm like, wait, that wasn't even mentioned until much later, but I must have missed it. But I will say I will like to do a shout out to the narrators who did the audio, because I listened to it. And so the way the narrator did the anonymous part was just so smarmy and amazing. Have you listened to it?
I've listened to of all of them, and they were so great. And so my publisher gets like they let me choose from, you know, several different, so they give me like snippets of each character, and so I was able to get my first choice for all of them. And and
you had multiple narrators, which is not common. So I enjoyed getting to hear that. So each one, it wasn't just like, oh, the same person kind of doing a different accent. It was really distinct characters, which really worked.
Yeah, I love that they do that. It makes me happy. But yeah, I really liked all of them. Like, I just thought that they all did a really great job. So.
Well, now I wish I had listened to it.
Well, you know, because I'm a busy mom, I am always listening to mine while I'm folding laundry and when I'm
planning Halloween.
Bed. And what?
Planning Halloween. Planning Halloween.
Well, Halloween's done, thankfully, over here, so I don't have to worry about.
Never done.
No, not in your house. In mine, you know what isn't done? They're still eating Halloween candy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was looking for a necklace I didn't find, and what did I find in my top drawer? A bunch of Snickers bars. I don't know why.
Because you have children, and they were probably...
you go and hide the candy, but I don't think it's from this year.
Yeah,
it's okay. It stays long.
I know. I was going to say, does candy really go bad?
Yeah, it does, and it's not good when it does.
I feel like I've never had candy long enough in my possession that it would go bad.
Only when it gets hidden and then discovered way later. Then you're like, should I eat this? The answer is no. If you have doubts, throw it out.
Okay.
See, my son, he loves trick-or-treating. Like, he likes the process of going up to people's houses and collecting things, but he actually doesn't really like candy except for dark chocolate. He's like a total snob about candy.
He's like my kid. None of my kids are like this, but he's like me because I like the dark chocolate. So when my kids are like, yeah, the dark chocolate, I'm like, thank you, I'll take that. That's mommy's tax. Thank you very much.
So we have candy sit around all the time. and we have to throw it away because
Because
like,
ugh.
Because he's like, I only want Godiva dark chocolate, thank
oh my
you.
gosh, such a snob about it. And it's like the 88%, like basically baking
cocoa.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You're like your kid, Tara. He's good people. He knows.
So where did your Halloween obsession start? Was it when you were a kid? Is it something you grew into?
I mean, it's my birthday, so like that's part of it, you know, but actually I did not love that when I was a little kid because I could never have like a birthday.
No, because
You couldn't have a party.
yeah, no, and then your birthday gets kind of lost in that. And my eldest, her birthday is near Halloween, so it's not on Halloween, but it's close enough that the festivities often screw things up, and it's like, oh, we can't do your party that day because this other thing's going on. So I think anybody who has a big holiday near their birthday might secretly resent that other holiday because then they're like, you stole my limelight. How dare you, baby Jesus?
And I was going to say, like those poor Christmas birthday people that have to celebrate their half birthday in July just so they can get some different presents.
Yeah.
And then they don't get a class party because there's nobody in school in July.
My son is born December 23rd.
Oh,
So,
my gosh. What is the karma in your family?
When's your husband's birthday?
He's the day
July
before,
4th?
He's the day before St. Patrick's Day.
You married a leprechaun.
And he hates St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. He probably would. See, now my birthday is, okay, no, nobody write this down. It's Groundhog's Day, which is not actually a holiday, but I claim it as a holiday. But I'm like, does your birthday have a movie? Mine has a movie, so I take it. And I'm actually originally from Pennsylvania, so I do the whole Puxtawny, Phil, and I, we are simpatico. I am.
Have you ever gone? Have you ever gone to Punxsutawney?
No.
Okay, so I did one year.
I want to go.
Total like tangent. So I grew up in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area of Pennsylvania.
Okay, so you're not that far from it. Yeah.
So one year, my friend and I decided we were going to drive there and we were going to see the groundhog come up.
But isn't it like freezing?
Yes.
And early?
The night before, it was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours or something. And we get there and we're like, well, we'll just like go to a bar and like drink for a while. But like the town is so small that
there's
nothing there. And the bar's closed at like 11 o'clock or something. And it's freezing, like freezing. And we're sitting in the car and we're like, what are we doing? Like, why did
worst plan?
This is the stupidest thing I've ever done. So we just turned around and drove back.
Oh no! You didn't even stay for the reveal.
And we were like, we'll never tell anyone this story.
And now you're telling.
Thank you for sharing.
Thousands of people.
Yeah, no, because I apologize on behalf of other Pennsylvanian groundhogs. That's poor hospitality. But I've been to places like that where everything shuts down around 6, and you're like, now what?
But like, why wouldn't you stay open? And then you
especially on like your big day
to the park, and I was like, I'm not getting on a shuttle bus and then standing out in the cold. It was just
it sounds like we need to open like a bed and breakfast with a pub downstairs, catering specifically to the groundhog crowd.
I mean, didn't they stay in one during Groundhog Day? They stayed in a B&B.
Yeah,
where's that? And they had like
I was basically picturing that movie, and then we got there, and it was totally not.
Bill Murray lied.
Bill Murray wasn't there.
No.
Screw that.
Yeah. So it was very disappointing.
Oh. And how old were you when you did this?
I was in my early 20s, so you'd think I would be able to tolerate this.
Cold.
No.
Yeah. No. I know, but in our early 20s, that's when we used to I remember wearing like stupid outfits and like dumb shoes and just being freezing all the time and like.
But I look good.
Walking places in high heels.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that, but I was just like, I'm not going to stand out in a park for like 4 hours to watch this. And
watch
like
a groundhog.
I just wasn't. Nope. It was stupid.
Well, you just like shattered one of my like bucket list things.
Sorry.
Just cross that off. You don't have to do it now.
No, I feel like I've done it. I've done it.
Yeah, you did it vicariously through Tara.
If the bars aren't staying open past 11 p.m., that's not a place I need to go visit for a groundhog. I will. I'm like, I probably have a groundhog in my yard.
You probably do. But that one's not the special weather protecting kind. I'd rather hang out with, what is it? There's an octopus that predicts soccer matches. That's
What?
Have you heard about that? There's I want to say there's an octopus that you give them balls and it knows which team's going to win. Somebody Google it, but I know it exists.
I will, because I have a weird obsession with octopus.
Well, you know I do too.
Octopi.
Octopuses. It's Greek. You don't say octopi.
I know, because I always feel like I'm going to say the wrong thing when I say octopuses.
Just say cephalopods and just.
I'm not going to say that.
Cephalopod.
But octopuses and squid were just named sentient beings by some like giant world science organization. So it's just like them, humans, and dolphins and monkeys.
I love them.
You know,
like so much. See,
this is going to become the octopus show.
You know, I'd do it.
I know. I'm like, oh, we could have a spin-off where we just like we watch our favorite octopus videos of the week and be like, look how smart that one is. It opened a jar and hid inside and then closed the jar.
I know. They're so great.
I can't even open a jar.
I can't open jars.
I'm running around with like the sippy cups and can't have the sippy cups open and have to go, okay, my husband tightened this thing too tight and now the rancid chocolate milk inside will never be released.
That's when you throw that away.
No, I have to wash them.
See how irresponsible I am. This is why I am not a mom.
You didn't understand it's
throw it
cup.
away.
That special cup. You've got a 10-year-old. You're past the sippy cup stage.
I am, but he still has the water bottle that gets too tight and I have to undo it. And yeah, I get it.
It is.
So Tara, what's next for you? I'm assuming you're writing something now that you probably can't talk about.
Yeah.
Or you've probably gotten like a Netflix deal for the mother next door that we can't talk about it, but we're part of the IV5.
Yes, I'm working on my third novel now. And it is, in that stage where it's total mess.
But you're not outlining it, right?
I am not, which is why it's a total mess because,
Because you're like, I don't know what's happening.
I'm just,
okay, so was this one though, did we already talk to the editor about it? Where are we in the stage, or is it too early even for that?
No, I did. I talked to her about it. She kind of approved the, general proposal, but she let me slide on an outline this time. And yeah, so I don't know how far I am because I had to throw out a bunch of stuff, but I'm basically just still trying to feel out these characters, and it's going to be another like atmospheric, creepy setting, and I'm sure secrets from the past will be cropping up to ruin everyone's lives. And
I feel like that's kind of my favorite genre of anything, movie, TV show, book, where it's a bunch of people did something terrible and then it comes back to haunt them. Like I will read anything. I blamed Christopher Pike when I was a kid.
I also blame some of Peter Straub's do that too.
Peter Straub, yeah. Like, so anything, like, this is why, like, I've rewatched Pretty Little Liars 3 times in its entirety. I shouldn't be talking about that, but like, I just love that whole.
Because Jen, once was enough.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it's so stupid, but I love it.
But there's something really appealing about the idea that like you can't really get away with something, right? Like it's going to come back in some way. Either it's going to be in your head and mess with you, or like someone's going to find out. And there's like something really scary about that. Like actually my scariest recurring dream is that I have killed someone and that it's like and in partnership with someone else, and that person is cracking, and I'm worried that they're gonna like seriously, that is like, and I've had
where are you writing that?
I know that's a great,
so vivid that I've woken up before and had to like actually think in my head like that really didn't happen, because that's how like
killing.
I don't know, like it would just be like some person and like I've buried them in a shed or something. Like it's really creepy.
I'm just upset that I still have like my recurring dreams are still school dreams or theater dreams where like I've not come to any rehearsals yet somehow I'm on stage. And I really would rather have that like, oops, I killed somebody dream, because I feel like that would be more inspiring for my work.
Oh, it's better than starting the field show and not knowing where you're marching or any of the notes. I would much rather just be like, oops, killed somebody.
Exactly. Like the theater dreams are terrible when they're like, get on stage, it's your cue. And I'm like, should I have come to any rehearsals? Why am I? Is this a musical?
I also always have the I'm gonna miss my bus elementary school dream. Like, you know, I'm like
I've never had a bus dream. I have a lot of I'm lost in a hotel dreams.
Ooh, late to the airport.
I've never had that.
I get the late to the airport ones because they've made getting to an airport and going through things just.
I get very stressed about flying too.
I'm not a good traveler.
This is why I get to the airport like 6 hours early, and my husband hates me because he's like, now we're 5 hours early. What are we going to do? And I'm like, we're going to get drunk.
Or read a book.
Or
I was
read a
going to
book.
say, I have some weird fascination with all the stores they have in there. It's like, it's terrible stuff, overpriced, but I'm like, ooh, but what do they have?
Yes.
Snacks?
Yes.
Yes.
Snacks
I'm going to buy a
$9
$9 bag of Cheez-Its.
And
a book.
And
that I would never read if I wasn't going on a plane.
And I always came with probably 2 books. So why am I buying another book?
Yeah. I always travel with a paperback and my Kindle that has like thousands of books on it. And I always buy a book at the airport because
it's an emergency book.
It's the emergency book because what if I break my Kindle? And what if I hate the book that I brought?
Or what if the flight's delayed and then the store is closed and then you can't get another book? So I mean, if I don't have a book with me, there's a problem.
Because then you might have to talk to people.
No. Why would I ever do that?
No.
So I'm glad you're writing. Everybody who's watching this live or on the replay, make sure to check out The Mother Next Door. Thank you for being with us here, Tara.
Thank you so much.
You have been amazing. Thank you to everybody at the Authors on the Air Global Radio Network. This has been a copywritten podcast. Stay tuned next week for our last show before our Christmas hiatus, when we will be talking to C.J. Cook, author of The Lighthouse Witches. So, I know. I'm like, 2 great words combined.
Exactly.
Lighthouse and witches. Thank
Don't
you.
Don't say it too loud or my youngest will hear it and he's like, Lighthouse? He's obsessed. More than Tara is with Halloween.
Oh,
wow.
That seems shocking.
Yeah.
That's obsession. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.